It was late in the evening inside Tanzaku Town, a small village a few days away from the Hidden Leaf. The town was a tourist attraction, primarily for the many gambling sites. The other was Tanzaku Castle. Kurama says he smells snakes, Naruto reported, looking at the old castle. Looks like your old teammate has been here recently. He smelled another person that is familiar but cannot pinpoint who. Jiraiya nodded. It seemed that this village was a hot place for his old team. He discovered in the previous village that Tsunade had been staying here the last couple of days. As for Orochimaru, he had no clear idea why he would be here, but Tsunade also being here led him to think that he was after her medical techniques. Here we are, Hinata announced, outside one of the local restaurants. Tsunade is inside with another woman, approximately in her mid-20s. I guess she took on an apprentice after she left, Jiraiya reasoned. I remember that a young lady left with her all those years ago. Jiraiya walked through the doors, the place reeking with the smell of alcohol. The young couple followed close behind, trying not to gag. Yo, Tsunade! A woman with blonde hair poked her head out of one of the stalls. Oh, is that you, Jiraiya? What are you doing here? Jiraiya walked over and sat down, Naruto and Hinata following suit. They could tell immediately that she had been drinking for the last few hours. Tsunade was wearing her regular clothing that most photos depicted her in, which allowed her to show off her incredibly large chest. Her blonde hair framed the side of her face and was tied back in two loose ponytails. She had a strange purple diamond shape on her forehead. Hinata's Byakugan had seen a massive amount of chakra being stored in the diamond. What was possibly the most strange was that Tsunade looked like she was still a young lady, despite being in her 50s. It has been a long time, Tsunade. Yeah, and it looks like you've been busy. You got 2 kids following you around. Jiraiya chuckled. Well, I don't believe we all know each other. The woman with Tsunade gave a short bow. She had black eyes and matching short hair. She wore a dark kimono, and underneath her sleeve, Naruto could make out some wrist-mounted senbon launchers. My name is Shizune. I am Tsunade's apprentice. It is a pleasure to meet you, Lord Jiraiya. Likewise. As for my companions, the young lady here is Hinata, ex-heir of the Hyuga clan. Hinata nodded in greeting. And the blonde boy here is someone you might know, Tsunade. His name is Naruto Uzumaki. Tsunade froze, fixing her gaze on the blonde kid. He was the spitting image of his father, and held a look of determination, just like his mother. The red swirl on his shoulder proved that he truly was the son of her friend, Kushina. Pleasure to meet you, Granny Tsunade, Naruto grinned, making the woman grunt angrily. I heard you were a friend of my mother. Tsunade turned her gaze away. I got nothing to say to you, brats. Alright, then I will cut to the chase, Jiraiya said. You probably heard of Orochimaru's attack on the Leaf Village. Tsunade flinched. The old man decided to step down after the attack, and he has named you as the 5th Hokage. Tsunade gulped down another drink. I'll pass. I have no intention of going back to the village. Besides, the Hokage position is worthless. Anyone who has taken that seat was foolish enough to buy into that role. Hinata and Jiraiya took in a sharp breath as Naruto's fists clenched. He let out an exasperated chuckle. Would you mind running that through me again? I said that the Hokage was foolish. All they ever do is get killed. Naruto restrained himself, knowing that his girlfriend would kill him for disrupting the people around him. "Why do you not take the position, Jiraiya?" Tsunade asked mockingly. "You know I can't do that. I have my spy network to take care of. On top of that, I am just not the right man to lead a village, especially from behind a desk." "Then why do you think I would be good as the damned Hokage?" "You are the only other person the old man trusts, that is why," Naruto stated. Tsunade turned once again to the boy, feeling uncomfortable looking into his ice blue orbs. "The old man is a fool. He took the seat back after his successor died, when he should have retired a long time ago. Speaking of, his successor went off and killed himself and his wife in the process." Naruto gritted his teeth, ki rising to the surface. He knew Tsunade was drunk and might not realize what she was saying, but it still made him furious. Tsunade laughed. "Are you sure you are a shinobi, kid? That ki of yours is weak. Shouldn't you be able to keep your emotions in check?" Naruto rose from his seat. "I know damn well how to suppress my emotions and use them to my advantage, which is more than I can say about you." "Don't go there, kid," Jiraiya warned. Naruto ignored his teacher. "I've read your shinobi record and heard stories from the old man. You lost your little brother during the Shinobi World War. Later on, you lost a love of your life. If I remember correctly, their names were Naoki and Dawn." Tsunade froze again, hearing those names. "You say that I don't have my emotions in check, when you definitely don't. You left the village because you were too afraid to accept your loss and move on. You were not strong enough to accept that the shinobi workplace is a killing ground." "That's enough!" Tsunade shouted, slamming a chakra-enhanced fist on the table, turning it into splinters. "Point proven," Hinata whispered to herself, and Jiraiya, who couldn't hold back a groan. "You are gonna pay for saying that, brat. You, me, outside, right now." Tsunade stood and stormed out of the building, practically putting people to sleep with her ki. Naruto smirked. "Gladly." He turned to Jiraiya. "I told you I would have to knock some sense into her." Jiraiya groaned in mental agony as he, Shizune, and Hinata followed the two. Tsunade stood on one side of the street, with Naruto on the other. The others stood on the sidelines. "So, how do you want to settle this, Granny?" Naruto asked, making the woman flinch angrily. She replaced it with a cocky grin. "I don't want to kill you, kid, so let's aim for a non-fatal strike. If you hit me once, I lose. If you win, I will come back to the village and become the Hokage. And, to make it interesting, I'll make a side bet. I'll give you this necklace if you win." Tsunade pulled out a green crystal from between her breasts that hung around her neck. From within Naruto's mind, Kurama whispered, "So, that is where it has been." "What are you talking about, Kurama?" Naruto asked aloud, making Tsunade pause. "That necklace belonged to the first Hokage. When worn by a Jinchuriki, it let Hashirama contain the tailed beast chakra inside them." "The first Hokage's necklace. Naruto smiled. "Stop blabbering to yourself and let's get this over with," Tsunade shouted. Naruto raised his hands in surrender. "Alright, I was just asking the fox about your necklace." "Lady Tsunade, are you sure?" Shizune asked her teacher. "You know what will happen if he puts that on." Tsunade brushed her away, ordering Jiraiya to start the match. Jiraiya reluctantly agreed and took a position between the opponents. "The battle may begin now." Tsunade stood waiting for Naruto to make his move. She waited, and waited, and waited. After a few minutes, Naruto sat down on the ground and pulled out a kunai, which he threw at the ground a few inches away. "What the hell are you doing, brat? Are you not gonna fight me?" Naruto shook his head in disappointment. "You may be too drunk to notice my vest, but I was given the rank of Special Jonin a few days ago. As a Jonin, I know when and when not to attack. I also know that I could beat you whenever my heart desired." Tsunade's anger was rising, clearly seen by her expression. At this point, she did not care if she beat the kid to a pulp. Before Shizune could stop her, she ran towards the boy, her fist enhanced with a large amount of chakra. Everyone could tell that if Naruto didn't defend himself, just contacting her fist would send him to the hospital for months. Tsunade's fist flew directly at Naruto's head, no sign of stopping. Tsunade's anger was still clouding her judgment. Once her fist was a mere inch away, Naruto flashed out of view. Tsunade was startled and watched out of the corner of her eye as Naruto appeared beside the kunai, embedded into the dirt. He instantly formed a blue orb in his hand, kicking the kunai at high velocity towards the female Sannin. Tsunade's fist slammed into the ground Naruto once sat in, creating a large crater. The kunai flew until it was directly above the Sannin. Naruto flashed to it, grabbing it midair with one hand, slamming down the Rasengan with the other. The Rasengan forced Tsunade's body to fall to the ground in pain. "What the hell are you doing, kid?" Jiraiya demanded. "You could have seriously injured her." Naruto waved him off. "Don't worry, I dispersed the Rasengan before it could do any severe damage. Besides, she is the world's greatest medical specialist. She can heal any small wounds I gave her." "It looks like your new Horizon marker is working as well," Hinata mentioned, not bothering to worry about Tsunade, who was being helped up by Shizune. Naruto gave a foxy grin. "Yeah, this new one I made not only uses less chakra than my dad's, but it is also easier to sense it as well. It is a good thing my dad found out about the need for different seals for each user. Otherwise, I doubt I could ever be as effective as him." That's impossible!" Everyone turned to see Tsunade. "I'm a Sannin. You're just a kid. How in hell did you learn both of your father's signature techniques?" Naruto readopted a glare, putting the kunai back in his pouch. "You lost the right to call yourself a Sannin the moment you decided to disrespect your teacher, your grandfather, your granduncle, and the husband of one of your closest friends. As for your question, I worked my butt off, just like many others." Tsunade gritted her teeth. "Now, we had a deal. You are going to return to the Leaf and become a great Hokage and respect your legacy. And," he reached his arm out, "you will hand over that necklace." Jiraiya's eyes narrowed. He knew how important that crystal meant to her, and he knew that Tsunade would not take kindly to losing it once she was sober. "Kid, Tsunade is still drunk. How about you collect your prize tomorrow?" He turned to Hinata. "You two go to the hotel. Me and Tsunade need to talk." Naruto let out a sigh, but agreed. He knew Jiraiya wanted to find out why Orochimaru had been here, so they might end up sticking around for a few more days. The couple left for the hotel, Shizune following close behind, expecting that the old friends needed some time alone. As they walked, Shizune kept a wary eye on the blonde. "Don't worry, Shizune," Naruto said, startling her. "I have no intention of harming you like I did Tsunade." The woman shook her head. "It's not that. It's about that necklace she betted on. It's dangerous. Everyone that has ever worn that necklace has died. Those two people you mentioned, Nawaki and Don, Tsunade gave them both the necklace. and both were killed during the Second Shinobi World War. Since then, Tsunade has not given the necklace to anyone. After that, she drifted away from the village, me by her side. Your mother, Kushina, was the only one who could keep her close to the village, since her grandmother was an Uzumaki. But after she died, she severed all ties. Naruto nodded in acknowledgement. Even so, I have no intention of dying early. She made the bet, and I intend to make sure she pays up. And that she comes back to the Leaf, and at least pay her respects to everyone she has let down over the years. I may be biased to taking her side, Shizune continued. But do you think she will agree to that? Naruto stuffed his hands into his pockets. I don't care. She is a shinobi and would be considered rogue if the old man did not care about her. She abandoned her village just because she lost a few people. That is rather cold, Shizune frowned. Naruto rolled his eyes. She's not the only one who has lost people, and yet she acts as if we should be sorry for her. I lost my parents seconds after I was born, and you don't see me complaining about my tragic backstory. The trio came to the hotel, where they parted to their rooms. Shizune was left to her thoughts. Naruto and Hinata immediately went to sleep. They wanted to put their time away from the village to good use, and get some training done. Jiraiya and Tsunade sat with drinks in their hands. The two had been in relative silence. Tsunade's anger was still boiling from her shameful defeat. Jiraiya could tell that she had not been in a fight for a long time. And to have her first loss be against a kid, it reminded him of one of his duels between the young Minato. How long have you been training that brat, Jiraiya? Jiraiya chuckled. Only a little over a month, since the second stage of the Chunin exams. And during that time I only taught him a few jutsu and helped him start on the Rasengan. You didn't teach him the Flying Raijin? Jiraiya shook his head. By the time we met, he already attained level 10 Seal Mastery. Both he and Hinata have become incredible shinobi for their age. I have no doubt they will surpass us both. And what about the Nine Tails? Tsunade asked wearily. Actually, his name is Kurama. Turns out the tailed beasts are more human than we thought. Naruto befriended the fox, and can use almost half of its power. I find that hard to believe, Tsunade grumbled. Kushina never said anything about the fox. That's because Kurama didn't like her as much as Naruto. Also, since Naruto was only half Uzumaki, that means he is better able to communicate with him, Jiraiya explained. Something about how Uzumaki life force is too potent, so tailed beasts cannot speak with their hosts well. And I would assume another part is due to his father's seal. Tsunade rolled her eyes, not genuinely caring. She downed her drink in one gulp and yelled for another. Anything else you want to ask me about, pervy sage? Yeah, there is, Jiraiya said lowly, brushing off the nickname. When we came here, Naruto said that he and Kurama spelled Orochimaru by Tanzaku Castle. Do you have an idea about why he was here? Tsunade stopped her drinking at the mention of their old comrade. In truth, she did know. Orochimaru and a younger man named Kabuto had arrived to find her and attempted to strike a deal with her. He said that if she gave him the secrets of her medical ninjutsu, he would give her the chance to see her brother and love her again. Tsunade was stuck between two choices. If she had given Orochimaru her techniques, he could use them to attack the village again. Although she had left, she still felt a connection to her birthplace. But deep down inside, a part of her was willing to go through with it, to see Nawaki and Dawn, even if for just a moment. Orochimaru and the white-haired boy gave her 1 week to decide. No, I do not, Tsunade lied. I only got here the other day. Jiraiya sighed. He did not know if she was lying, but without Naruto, he had no certain way to tell. Alright then, I think I might investigate further for the next few days. I gave the young ones some training to do. Our plan is to get back to the village in a week. Tsunade's eyes narrowed slightly, and then, you can hold up your end of you and Naruto's bargain. Jiraiya finished. Tsunade grunted. You still think I will become Hokage? Jiraiya's eyes hardened. Both Nawaki and Dawn wanted to become the Hokage. Kushina was married to one. Do you think all of them would want you to disrespect the title by saying it was foolish? You owe it to them to take the position, to make their dreams come true. Tsunade gripped her drink tighter. They died trying to attempt that goal. Jiraiya slammed his fist on the table, startling his old friend. Naruto was right, you know. The shinobi world is a killing ground. You and your loved ones knew that the moment they became ninja. They died protecting the ones they loved, to become Hokage to further that goal. Tsunade stared at Jiraiya. He was not the kind of person to shout in this manner. She could see the desperation in his eyes. The pain was clear in his voice. But before she could speak, Jiraiya paid for his drink and turned to leave. We leave in 1 week, regardless of your decision. Trust me, if you refuse, Naruto will beat your head in. Tsunade was stunned. She could not even think of something to say as she watched her old friend walk off. She looked down to see that he'd left enough money to cover for her as well. Jiraiya knew her too well. Of course, she had no money to pay for it. She was always broke. She downed another drink before deciding to turn in herself. She chuckled softly as she remembered Nawaki, Dawn, and Kushina, and how the blonde boy had a resemblance to each of them. She would make sure to give them all an apology when her day came. If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai, disappearing in a golden flash.